new project. We've been asked to restore the Burled elm veneer from an MG. It's 1990. It's a 30-year-old vehicle, and I kind of laughed in one way. Now it's considered an antique. What we have here on one of them is all the veneer is cracking, all lifted up. All of it. And why did it fail? I think it failed because of the bend and the substrate underneath. It looks like it's wood underneath. It feels very soft. And I think it just lost its traction, as they say. These two have to be replaced. I accepted the contract to restore these ones, but what I was concerned about was, like, this one's red and these ones are like a different color, you know, and I'm not sure what happened. It's right here, you can see it, it's stained, you know. It's like somebody put a clear coat over on top of it. So the veneer looks really good on this, and I don't want to replace it if I don't have to. Same with this little dash. Everything looks good. Now, what I'm going to do is, like, I take the sander. Like, you got to be so careful with this. Like, I'm kind of just showing you what it looks like. This is what it would look like if it was clear coated. So you kind of just take it. You can, like with these things, you can go variable speed. Like, look at this. You know, I'm going to go easy. Take it out. Now, I'm going to back off a bit there. Now, you can get a scraper, like you can get, I don't know, fancy one from Lee Valley, or a cabinet scraper or whatever. I just have a plain knife. You know, I could tape it, but I really got to be careful. I don't want to sand down there to the veneer, because it wouldn't stand a chance with this orbital. You know, we just blast through it. What they sprayed it with is polyester. What does polyester mean to somebody? It's just a heavy-duty clear coat. I've worked with it years ago, or not years ago, a while ago, and I've done, I'm not going to get involved in what I did, but I did aircraft parts using the same thing, and I had to restore 30 planes. Mind you, with 50 other guys. But it's the exact same stuff. Like, when it gives, like, I'm going to show you something here. When it gives, it's like, look at that, eh? It just flakes right off, you know. I'm not a fan of polyester. You know, I know guys swear by it, but stuff's dangerous. Oh man, I don't want to go there. I used to get sick with it, eh. I only worked with it for a few years, and it's not, you know, it dropped my immune system. So this one, like, I'm not going to sand like this. That's why I think this is original, and then somebody restored this. It's been played with, definitely. Most, hands down, it has been, with a lot of people. Like, you can't, I mean, I saw on the internet, like, people are saying, yeah, take the spray can of lacquer on this. Don't do it. I mean, if you're not going to do it properly, please don't waste your time. So I'll get all that down, but what I'll do here, like, I could take sandpaper or whatever, but I'm just going to take a knife and see how much I'm scraping away with a sharp blade. Look at that. And I can smell it. Like, one thing about polyester, it has this distinct smell. You know when you get into it. And look how much I'm taking off. You know, I'm going back and forth. I'm just getting a feel for it. It's more like discovery, you know. This by far is going to be the worst one. This one's pretty easy. So that'll be it. Like, I don't want to re-veneer this. I told the customer I thought about it to get it all re-veneered, but I've done a 180 on that. because it's in really good shape, and I don't really want to change it if I don't have to. And you can see right here, I know this is like boring as hell. So I'll be at this for a long time, you know, because I really got to take my time. But you see how nice it's so dry, eh? That's one thing about it. It just, you know, it just comes off so easy. And then the DIYers might ask, well, why aren't you using stripper? See me, I might chuckle. For this or 2K urethanes or even cat lacquer or things like that, stripper's not going to work. You'll never work. And so there's no way in hell that you could take a stripper to it. Would I though? Take it? I don't know. You got the back here that's been painted. It's all wood, the back. I don't know. Probably I would. But I did try it to see if somebody sprayed lacquer on it, but I'm pretty sure this is the original finish from the factory. And, you know, it just hasn't been touched in 20 years. You can see the cracks there from the finish, so this will be it. I'll just go nice and easy like that, take it off, and then when I feel comfortable, you know, I'm just gonna keep taking it off till I hit the bottom. And you see it's heating up a bit, just by me going back and forth. There's really no easy way to do this. You can see I'm just scraping. I'm just using plain old blade, just going back and forth. What I like about it, it has a lot more control, you know, and that way, you know, even if I hit the wood or I go down to that level, it won't cause any damage because it would take me forever to scrape off veneer with that blade. So, but it works really nice with the clear coat. And basically, there's no easy way. I'm just concentrating on a section because each one is sanding different. Some of the clear coat peeled off. Some was very stubborn, so there was no, you know, no easy way to do it. Plus, there's a little curve in that dash there, so you got to be careful there. You know, you're not working too hard in one area and try to go even. So I'm spinning it around and, you know, now I'm hitting the right, and that's it. Now this sucks. This is our door. We used spar varnish and it looked gorgeous. I sprayed it on. I was very proud of it. Pure garbage. We'll not be putting any spar varnish or any nonsense like that on a dash like that. If you want to do it and end up like this in a couple of years, go ahead. Now I'm gonna go get the orbital. And when I do the orbital, I'm gonna start with 220 and then go 320. I know I said before in some of the exotic woods, when you sand with 220, 320, you can bring up the oil and create a finish. It's complicated, I know, but in the Burled, I'm not really worried about it. What I'm really worried about is going through the veneer and going through there, and then all of a sudden I would have to do a major touch up. Plus, I only have little edges there. Look at the little edges there. But it's pretty easy to figure out where you sand. The light spots are the wood, and the dark spots are still the clear coat, and that's what I want. I want to get right on the wood. So don't create any shortcuts here. Don't leave that behind, because it can come by and bite you in the ass. Because I think if I left it, if you sprayed, you'd have two different colors on there. So I definitely want to avoid that at all costs. All right. So the only thing I would say, if I did a lot of this, I'd probably get like a smaller orbiter to get into these kind of crevices. So that's it. Patience, patience, and patience. But now I'm going with this straight line and trying to loosen it up a little more because it's just taking too much time with the orbital. If I'm making sense because you're going in a circle. Now I'm going straight. Ready? We're back with the car. I waited a few months for it. I was reluctant to do it on the armrests. They were curved. Was I set up for it? Not really. So I had to do, a little more research to be able to come up with an efficient way. I got the bag at the other end. I'm going to show you that in a minute. But the important thing is getting the veneer, because that I mentioned we're using Burled down. Burled down, it's brutal to work with because there's no grain. Wood usually has a grain, which is the straws at the end, but your miniature straws going up. So there's a bit of a flux, a natural flux with it. But the Burled down, or any burled, is like a cancer that's on the tree. It's like, well, if you see, it's like, looks like a growth, which, is like a cancer. So there is no wood grain. Like it doesn't go left, right, whatever. So it could be. So the problem is working with it, especially for this curve, is that it's brittle. Like it will crack. You can always see here. There's a crack right there. Like I bend it. We use super soft and tried to work with it, but super soft, they should go so soft, not super. It doesn't work as advertised for the Burled. It did a job. Right now, I unclamped it this morning, and it's already going back to its previous state. You can see all the ripples here. So, I'm a little bummed out about that. So I've matched it. I've used the tape. I think this is perfect. All right, I got the two halves. This is what's fun about Burled. So I'm gonna go like this. I gotta get set up, glued, right? And I'm gonna go here, and I'm gonna chomp this off a bit, right here. I'm gonna go right across, and I have this saw, the veneer saw that cuts it. But the only thing is, I don't have a little piece of board long enough. Right here. Like I do have a backup. If I make a mistake with this and I can't do the bend, then I'll be okay. So I like leaving it a little over. So I'm using just that crack where it was. I'm just going to go very gentle with this saw. I just want to score it first. And I'm going to go. I'm going to make a. Yeah, it's very hard to cut this stuff in. So even there I slipped it. Okay. Yeah, this saw is not so good. I bought the kit, but I think I should do it again. Stay away from the kit. You can see here, I'm just making a bit of a mess here, eh? So, let's see what it's like freehand with this thing. Yeah, don't try precision with this thing, eh? Make sure you're leaving a lot of extra, because you're going to make a mess out of it. So I can go here, and I can go here. I got a little overhang, right? I'm right in the middle there. I'm going to leave the end alone. I'm just going to let it be here at the end, and trim that at the end. I'm not going to start playing around here. So that one's pretty decent. So what I got to do now, this way this stuff, these repairs, can be so expensive, you know. So I got to get a wood like this in the bag, and then get this with the veneer. So when it comes down, boom, you know, it's gonna pull it. What I'm betting on is when I use the glue, I picked a medium blue for this, meaning it has a color in it. That the moisture in the glue is going to make the veneer soft and a little more pliable to bend. If it cracks or whatever, like here, like there's already one there, a natural crack, you know, I'll deal with that after, I'll fill it. But I'm going to have to be so careful. So more than likely, I'll take this piece and then figure out, you know, double tape it or something, just make sure it doesn't come off, you know. So I have to get a couple of these. So that's about it. I have 45 minutes, which is nice. And, you know, make sure, boom, I go glue that side, go here. I like to do both of them at the same time in the bag. They can easily fit. And then I have this flexible support that's going to go over it, and it'll keep the pressure even on this piece, as opposed to the bag. You might suck down. You might get a wrinkle here, and then that piece won't be down like the rest of it. So with the grill that goes on top, that'll hold it down. We'll show that grill. All right, so here we are. I'm ready to go. If you can see the tape there, what I did was put tape around the veneer and also the mesh on top. I didn't want that sliding because that would have been a bit of a disaster. What the mesh does, it creates equal pressure on top of the veneer, so I won't have any, even if there's a little low spot with the, I doubt if there will be with this kind of pressure that I'm using, but that there won't be any unequal spots or a little air, you know, even if there's a little air, I think that mesh would just push it right out. And when I first did it, you could see I went on a bit of an angle. I'm not happy with that because I want pressure underneath it. That's why I put that wood there. Now I took it out and I repositioned it. Now I'm going to be a little more careful and make sure it doesn't tip over. You can see my little blocks underneath it there. And I want the bag going underneath, giving a nice tight fit underneath, so I got equal pressure all the way around. So I was holding my breath, and I was really worried about it, pushing it end to end where my seam was and creating a ridge there. But it worked out really well. I was very happy with it. And you see the pressure there is like insane because I use a CNC vacuum. All right, so we're back again. And you can see how it turned out. It turned out really nice. There's no, what's the word? No cracking. You know, as we went along, we managed to get it in. And you could see. Now I'll show you something at the ends. Originally, how they did this, they laminated it, and then they put a solid wood edge, a butt on the back right here, all right? But in my case, I didn't want to disturb it because, you know, obviously you have to do veneer first and add the piece. I didn't want to cut it off or put another piece. I didn't want to have that responsibility because it's tapered in here. So what I did, I kept my veneer back here. I tried to. I sanded it. I did that all by hand. And then I put the glue with very little putty, mixed it in, and then just sanded right down to the wood to get a nice tapered edge. Now, I bled a little right here, if you can see up close there. That's because with the paintbrush, and I used a dye and a stain to get both of it black there. So what I'll do after 2 coats is I'll get the yellow tape, I'll retape it, and then I'll try to get that line a little sharper. All right, and then I'll see if there's any other defects. And you can see right here where I'm pointing, that believe it or not is a defect, and it's fun to like touch this up. Here's another one over here, you know, because you basically, here's the sheet of veneer. This is what you're dealing with. You got little cracks, you could have one of these little knots, like see right here where I'm pointing. You got a little crack there. Very difficult to work with. I was like, you know, I thought I was going to have to redo it, but the glue really came through like a champ. The glue is thick. It has a resin in it, and then that's what I like about this glue. So there won't be any issues or any callbacks on this job. Here are the other parts. These are originally, I didn't have to veneer. And this one here will be getting one more coat. But why did I wait so long? Like here I am about 5-6 months later. He could have called me, these parts are ready to be delivered. He could have taken these anytime. I would have no problem whatsoever. Because that's a lot of work. This is only an armrest. They could slap that in the last part, you know, it's only a couple of screws. But what I was worried about, and I was reluctant to do it, and I tried to tell him I'm not responsible if anything happens, because I don't know the substrate, if there was moisture, where was it stored, all these factors. So here we are, now ready to spray, and I'm all set up. I set the gun to 20 pounds. I went as low as I can. That clear coat is really very thin. I love it though. Okay, here we go. Under the edge and under the other edge. I'm just going easy. This is my first coat. I'm not going to, you know, coat it too heavy. This is the last thing you want to do is, I think on the first coat, just missed it, so the next coat has something to hold to. I did this 3 times in a row. After that, 1, 2, 3, and you know, waiting about 5-10 minutes in between each coat, and that's all there is to it. All right, so I'm back next day after the coat. I don't know if you can see right up here, there's a lot of little imperfections. You know, like I gave it about 3 yesterday, I went like 10 minutes, the first 2, waited 10 minutes, and then I waited a good hour for the third. And I did, you know, you're tempted to flood it, but don't. You know, that's about the most I would do. There's the end there, a little black. And it's looking pretty good. You know, originally it was sort of like it wasn't as black as mine. It was probably faded out throughout the years. It was more darker brown. So I'm gonna have to live with that. And what's critical, sandpaper, but a block, and sanding right over. This is what's so hard. And you can see your low spots because they're shining. Like right now, there's no way I'm going to get this perfectly flat. So what I'm doing now is just, you know, laying the course, as I say. I think by tomorrow, though, I should be pretty good. I don't expect to get this till about a good, healthy 8 coats. And here's the top. But this one I already had built up. And you can see it really crystal clear. You know, showing just a little bit of the maple there, because I used on the first one, I used a little bit of oil, a little yellow that I'm not happy with, and that's on me. The rest, I really like it. You know, this is the outside's African Peruk, bird's eye maple, and cherry for these checkers, the dark checkers, and I do have that nice contrast. And the drawer, I'm leaving it the way it is. I said to myself, I got a lot more other things in life to do than sit there and start redoing things, because when I did this at that time, that was all the wood I had. I matched the rest beautifully though. I matched the legs, everything else. Just the end I didn't match to my liking. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get really nice handles. I'm going to look online, something outrageous, something polished, brass, high gloss, like kind of gold kind of look, you know, to put at the end there. And I think that'll look outrageous, and there'll be a lot of bling for it, and it'll take care of, you know, my little, whatever you want to call it. So we'll check it. We'll check in again tomorrow, see how this turned out. All right, so now we're day 2 of the clear coating. I'm building up. This is going to be a third shot in the spray booth, but it's actually the second day. I can only build this up so much. So let's see how I made out. Now remember, this is the most disciplined thing that you ever do in woodwork. It's really labor of love. So there's no real shortcuts on this one, eh? So I'm not going to do some sped up video and show it done like within 10 minutes. I really want you to understand that it's very difficult. And if somebody wants this type of finish in their house, prepared to pay. There's a big difference between high gloss clear coat, and I got it over here on the shop. On the shop there is laminate, high gloss laminate. Do not confuse the two. They're totally different animals, and there's no comparison to it. All right, so let's go see. This is high gloss laminate, like you'll see it with IKEA sells it in the kitchens and whatever, or in some of the others. Now come on over. This is high gloss wood. This equals right now, I'm up to about 8 coats on this on the flat part. I got the legs really half decent. All right. And when you get involved in this finish, you'll know when it's done. All right. Now let's see how the car parts came out, because I was just doing that at the same time here, because if I mix some of this stuff up, it's a shame because they're small parts and I'd be having a lot of wastage. So here we are, the original car parts and my parts. All right. Now we're looking really good here, eh? The color's good. I don't think anybody's gonna be able to tell. Now, what am I looking for day 3? All I'm really after is what I showed before. Go by hand with a block, 320. When I say 320, that means the grit. And a lot of guys in finishing will say 320. They don't go 3, because it's loosely recommended by manufacturer or whatever clear coat you're doing. 90% of the time after the first coat is 320. Sometimes they recommend 220 on the first coats. I've seen that a couple times. All right, so I'm very, very happy. I got the bend. Like this is like I said, a brutal wood to bend. So, all right, so here we are. It is a week and 2 days since I started this. Or actually a little longer. But the result I am happy with. So my match, you see my Burled elm on the dash. Those are all original, these parts. So I redid this, and I think I hit a home run. You know, I was a little antsy, I won't lie. You know, I did prepare the customer to say I wouldn't get, the grain to match, but geez, I don't think I can get much better than this. As you can see, I have it pretty good. It's going to need one more coat on the armrests. And what I'll do is I'll wait a few days. I'm not in a rush. He hasn't really contacted me yet. I'll take the picture and contact the customer. And the reason for that is I like to give it a couple of days. Probably going to need 2 more light coats. I offered to polish this. It's going to be time material. I didn't include it in the quote. He doesn't really want it. He looked at those other pieces, said it's good enough. The only danger with not polishing, I think it can scuff easy. When I say scuff, like any little difference in variation of the polish and the other part, you'll see it a mile away. You'll see a fingerprint with oil on it. So you gotta keep this thing clean, and using basically cloth diapers. Something super clean to clean it. So that's the danger. Anyways, thanks for looking at our video. I hope it helps somebody. And don't forget to subscribe. We need all the support we can get at this channel, and I'll continue making videos. Also, the next one is this. Now, I'm going to get one more coat on that, 2 more. I got it built up really nice. Like, let's go down here and take a close-up view. All right? So we got it pretty good, eh? Look at that. Now, I'm going to give it 2 more coats because there's going to be wood movement because I use solid wood there, and it's give me a little flex. But this stuff's meant for like bumpers and plastic parts, and it really does have a lot of flex. That's what I love about it. So I'm going to get 2 more coats, then I'm going to polish. We're going to do a video on the polishing, just polishing. All right? Because it's really the last thing that you have to do, but it's the hardest thing. It takes so much discipline, and I'll explain why with the video. Thank you for watching again. Bye.